They thought the true prince of Ikorodu was dead, stole his throne and fed spirits with blood to keep their fake riches alive. But when a poor village boy saw his father's crown on another man's head, the land woke up. Gold began to die in guilty hands. Royal charms went silent, and he walked back into the palace, not as a guest, but as the curse they feared. Stay to the end, because wealth isn't stolen, it is borrowed from spirits, and spirits always come to collect. Gunshots tore through the night. Kenny remembered the screams first, then the pounding boots of guards rushing in, and his father's voice disappearing beneath the chaos. Somewhere in the palace, a door slammed, metal clashed, and someone shouted his name. Then another gunshot. Closer. Blood was on the marble floor. The golden charms hanging over the treasury door rattled as if something unseen had grabbed them. By morning, the prince of a golden Ikorodu palace would vanish, and the throne would be stained with more than just blood. But how does a boy born to private tutors and wide rooms, a boy whose bloodline sat on a throne built on ancient wealth, how does the palace's golden child end up hiding in a dusty village classroom, pretending to be ordinary? 3 years earlier, in a village classroom, a herd of cows thundered past, their hooves shaking the earth and dragging Kenny from his thoughts. He leaned towards the window to see what troubled the road, but the fierce harmattan sun slapped him back, bright and unforgiving. He tapped the wooden table, restless, straining to hear his teacher's voice through heat and dust. His life had fallen from great heights. Once he had private tutors, a wide room, servants who bowed because his bloodline sat on a throne built on ancient wealth. Gold dusted the palace floors. Cowries filled jars like river sand. Now, life was small, ordinary. The thought troubled his spirit. Why should the palace's golden child sit among strangers? Kenny's fingers moved to his neck out of habit. They met bare skin. Once, a heavy golden charm hung there, stamped with the royal seal, warm like living fire. The palace dibia said it was tied to the throne itself. As long as the charm stayed on his neck, the spirit of wealth would watch over him. Now there was only the rough collar of his faded school shirt. Outside, the cows quieted. In the distance, something else jingled, soft like metal brushing metal. Kenny froze. That sound. It was the same way the royal charms used to sing in the treasury whenever blood touched the palace floor. He blinked. The classroom was still. His classmates were bent over their books. His teacher's chalk scraped the board. So why did he feel like the spirit from Ikorodu had just walked past his window? He saw his family again in his mind's eye. Royal clothes flowing, coral beads glowing like fire. The royal treasury stacked with charms that called money from unseen places. Respect following them like a shadow. The days were full then. Food was plenty. Now meals were measured, and silence filled the house. It had all begun on that night, broken by the gunshot. Guards rushed in, and his hands pulled him from sleep into hidden tunnels beneath the palace vault, where chests of offerings once glowed like embers. Before dawn, they were gone. His royal garments were stripped away, replaced with plain clothes. His mother had once said, royalty must never expose the true source of its wealth before the world. That night, the rule was broken, and the wound remained. They settled in a quiet rural town of Ijede, where lights came and went. Roads were rough, and schools were forgotten. No one knew of kingdoms that fed on spirits for prosperity. His hands told him his parents were fighting a war with another kingdom. It was hidden because it mattered. It was only for a while, she said. Only until victory came. She told the story again and again. Be patient, you will return. And at first, the words comforted him. He believed his parents lived. He believed he was safe. But this time is a stubborn witness. 3 seasons turned into 3 years. Kenny understood. This was no short journey. His hand had wrapped the truth in silence to shield his heart. In that hidden town of Ijede, the dreams began. An old man appeared in his sleep, ancient, steady, his eyes like dark cowries, a guardian of the land and the spirit that fed the kingdom's riches. Each time the man asked the same question: peace or wrath? Wealth preserved or wealth purified? He would call, "O guardian," and wait. Kenny always answered, "Peace." He was still a child. He did not yet know the weight of choice. He did not know the land itself was asking whether it should remain calm or rise against a false ruler feasting on stolen spiritual wealth. As Kenny grew, knowledge found him. And with knowledge came anger. Each truth sharpened his spirit. One day the silence became too heavy. He confronted his aunt, eyes burning, voice shaking, demanding to know why she had hidden the truth. She scolded him. She reminded him that elders must be addressed with calm words. She told him to breathe before speaking. But Kenny had seen this dance before. This time, he did not step back. This time, the story was not ending in silence. He accused her of twisting words again, using old tricks to pull him away from the truth. He said he would not let it go this time. 4 years had passed. He was old enough now. He demanded the truth. She roared at him and pretended not to understand. She said anger would earn him nothing and accused him of choosing bad behavior. She ordered him out of her room. Kenny smirked and left, anger heavy in his chest. He wondered how someone who once tasted a life where money moved at a snap of the king's fingers could settle so easily into mediocrity. The next day at school, Kenny struggled to focus in computer class until the teacher wrote a word on the board: information. Kenny had been silent all day, but he raised his hand. The teacher welcomed the question. He asked if information about everyone, even kings and queens, could be found on the internet. The teacher paused, amused. He said the government knew much, but not everyone was online. Still, the life of a king or queen was not hard to find. Kenny nodded and sat down. A boy named Matthew laughed and teased him. He asked if Kenny thought he was a prince. The class erupted. Kenny remembered his aunt's lesson. Breathe in, breathe out. He obeyed. He wanted to shout the truth. He wanted to say their king sat on gold that belonged to his father, on charms that once answered only to his blood. But he knew they would not believe him, and his hands would not forgive it. He stayed still, yet the hunger to know grew stronger. That night, when his aunt slept, Kenny unlocked her phone and searched for the king of the state. What he saw nearly broke him. The king was his father's face, alive in another man, smiling, ruling. There was no mention of the attack, no trace of his escape. Beside him sat the false queen, draped in jewels that once belonged to his mother. His hands walked in and froze. The secret had slipped beyond her control. Kenny demanded the truth, and she knew silence would only sharpen his resolve. They sat together in the candlelit parlor. Shadows danced like restless spirits across the walls. She began with apologies. She said she hid the truth because he was too young to carry it. Kenny begged her to speak. He could not wait any longer. She said the palace attack left many dead. His parents stayed behind to defend it. They were murdered. Her voice broke as she added that her husband died as well. The world collapsed inward. Kenny had feared it, accepted it quietly, yet hearing it hurt deeper than he imagined. He stayed silent as she cried. Still he pressed on. Today he would know everything. He asked who the people in the picture were and why the chiefs still served them. She explained that his father was a twin. So was his mother. They are twins hungry for power and the royal covenant that drew endless wealth into the kingdom, walked with the chiefs and took the throne. They erased the truth and fed the ancestral spirits with blood to keep the riches flowing without challenge. Kenny's mind reeled. The betrayal was too calculated, too complete. Rage rose like fire. He stood, eyes red and wet, and declared his name, King Kendi Afowowe. As the last of this bloodline, he would reclaim his throne and cleanse his wealth, no matter the cost. His hand said nothing. He saw the resolve in his eyes and knew this was the beginning of something dangerous. Years later, the dream returned. This time, Kenny chose war. Calamity followed. Each choice of wrath brought strange suffering upon the land. Markets burned overnight. Rivers recoiled from the shore. Coins turned black in people's hands. For 10 years, his life became patience wrapped in fury. He lived among poor roads and failing lights, watching the false king and queen shine in gold on screens. Their sudden prosperity fed by rituals that twisted the kingdom's fortune. He waited for hunters who never came. They had forgotten him. That insult burned deeper than fear. Rage grew beyond control. If they would not come to him, he would go to them. He sought the Dibia for ancient fortification. In the cavern, his grip tightened around his blade. Cowries and bones lay scattered at the Dibia's feet, stained from years of bargaining for wealth and power. His heart screamed at the injustice. He asked if they wanted to try something. The Dibia asked what he meant. Kenny gripped the dagger so hard it hurt and said those animals who dared to dine in his father's place, spending blood-soaked wealth, wanted him to try something. He told the Dibia they knew he was alive. If they truly wanted him dead, they would have found him. No assassin had ever come. Not once. It was clear they did not see him as a threat. And that truth wounded him deeply. The Dibia asked why. Kenny said they wanted him to struggle and fail. Sparing an enemy only to watch them live poor while you grow rich was the deepest display of power. The Dibia asked what he intended to do and how he would drive his enemies away. Kenny unsheathed his blade and screamed. He said they would not only reclaim his throne and rule as king, he would erase his enemies completely and strip their spirits of all stolen riches. He swore on his father's grave that none will survive to strike back. The Dibia smiled and bowed. He said Kenny was ready for fortification. He called on ancient forces, pouring old royal wealth back into Kenny's body as spiritual strength, speed, shadow, and a curse that would follow any hand that touched stolen gold. Far away in the palace, the king's jeweled watch slipped from his hand before the chiefs. The diamonds dimmed. They all knew the meaning, a bad omen. The king felt it too as his voodoo stirred. The spirits that fed his prosperity trembled. He roared, demanding to know who dared disturb his spirit. He swore no mercy on his enemy and rose in fury. The chiefs hailed him as he left to seek the Dibia who always revealed the source of unrest. The king arrived long after Kenny had gone. He demanded answers. But the Dibia now belonged to Kenny. He lied. He said the enemy's power was greater than the king's, and that the wealth he sat on no longer answered to his blood. He blamed old karma. The king left troubled, searching his past for a sin strong enough to summon such defiance. Kenny did not wait for the prophecy. He became it. During a royal banquet, he slipped into the palace like a shadow, moving through halls where he once played as a child, where gold-lined walls had watched him grow. He went first to the inner council chamber. The chiefs were drinking and laughing. The same men who sold his bloodline for power and a share in cursed riches. When Kenny stepped from the darkness, the room froze. He offered no trial, no mercy, only steel. One by one they fell. Their pleas died beneath the blade of the prince they betrayed. With each death, the charms on his wrist cracked, and the spirits that had fattened their pockets fled screaming. He moved faster than sight, a terrifying gift of the Dibia's fortification. When silence settled, he haunted the false princes, the sons of thieves who lived the life meant for him, their wardrobes heavy with charms bought by blood. He handed them without hesitation, severing the false branch forever. Then came the false queen. She tried to wear his mother's face, dripping in jewels stolen from the true queen's chest. Kenny saw only a murderer. He struck her down without words. Her necklaces shattered. Pearls rolled like lost souls across the floor. At last, he reached the false king. Dark charms hissed around the usurper as stone broke and steel clashed. Fetishes dangling from his neck spat smoke and coins as they burned. Kenny was wounded. A spear pierced his side. Poison burned his blood. Rage held him standing. With one final strike, Kenny drove his blade into the usurper's heart. The magic shattered. Golden plates cracked, and the palace lights flickered as if the spirits themselves were fleeing. He dragged the dying body to the throne, blood staining gold. As the king faded, a hidden door burst open. Kenny's true mother emerged, freed from years of forced sleep in a chamber where her life force had been used to fuel the usurper's wealth. She saw her son, cried his name, and held him as his final breath left him. He reclaimed his throne and purified its riches, but only long enough to die in her arms. With his death, the calamities ended. The land sighed, and for the first time in years, wealth that came without blood began to return. Moral lesson: revenge is a fire that consumes the hand that carries it. Kenny's path shows that justice without mercy becomes ruin. Betrayal breeds destruction, and power built on blood collapses in blood. True strength lies in integrity, and thrones raised by lies will always fall. The spirits that walked past that classroom window, they were not just watching, they were counting. Back in Ikorodu Palace, the stolen gold was already turning against the people who spilled royal blood to get it. Because cursed wealth never forgets its first owner. Warriors, I want to hear from you. Do you believe wealth taken by blood or betrayal can ever truly bring peace? Or will karma always collect one way or another? Drop your answer in the comments. If you believe spiritual laws are stronger than any throne, tap the like button. And don't go far. Next episode week, we bring another interesting story.